Sammy's Bookshelf. I'm Sammy and today I am going to be doing a birthday book haul plus my very first Owlcrate unboxing. It was my birthday on March 13th. I am now officially 20 years old. Now, these books that I'm about to show you, none of these books were actually gifted to me. These are all books that I bought for myself with the excuse that I was buying them for myself as a birthday present since I bought them on or around my birthday, and it was just an excuse really to buy more books when I probably shouldn't have. As for the unboxing portion of this video, as a birthday present to myself, I bought myself my first ever Owlcrate box. I've never gotten an Owlcrate box before, and so I wanted to unbox it with you. But first, I'm going to show you all the books and we'll do the unboxing last, so let's get into it. So the first book that I have to show you is Verity by Colleen Hoover. Now this is a book that I bought when I was at the bookstore buying my blind date with a book for my blind date with a book video, and I wasn't supposed to buy any other books while I was there, but I hadn't seen Verity in an actual bookstore before, and so I couldn't miss the chance to go ahead and buy it. Colleen Hoover is one of my favorite authors, but I've never read one of her non-contemporary romance books before. Verity is a psychological thriller, I believe, and I've heard it is very messed up, and so I'm very keen to read it. I'm just really interested to see Colleen Hoover's writing translate into a thriller story. I think it's going to be really interesting. I've heard nothing but great things, and so I'm sure I'm going to love it. All I know about this book is that the main character is a writer and she gets pulled into some dark, mysterious / possibly scary things. I'm not super keen to really learn anything more about this book. I think it seems like a really fun book to go in knowing nothing, and so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm really excited to read this sometime super soon. It's super short. I could probably read it in one sitting. I'm very excited to read this. Also, it still has a sticker on it. The next book I have is The Deal by Elle Kennedy, which is the first book in the Off-Campus series. I have heard so many amazing things about this series. People are just obsessed with it, and so I've been really wanting to start reading it for a really long time now. So I believe each book in this series is a companion novel, and they all follow different couples, and it's all set on a university / college campus. I'm unsure whether I want to binge read this and just read the whole series all at once, because I do know that the last book just came out super recently, but I also feel like maybe it might be a good idea to maybe read one once a month or every couple of months, just whenever I'm in the mood for a cutesy contemporary read, since these are companion novels and it follows different characters in each book. If you've read this series, let me know what you recommend. Very excited to read this. I'm sure it's going to be great. Next, I have Archer's Voice by Sheridan. I actually got this recommendation from Jessica, who is a booktuber who I watch, and she recommended this book in one of her videos, and she was just gushing about it and talking about how much she absolutely loved it, and it convinced me that I needed to read it too. So I finally bought it really recently. The only thing I know about this book is that it's about a girl who moves to a new town, and I believe she meets a boy named Archer, and I believe both her and Archer have experienced trauma in their past, and they try to help each other. That's all I really want to know about this book. You might have called a trend. I like to go into books really knowing next to nothing, but I've heard really great things about the love interest in this book, Archer, and that he is the ultimate book boyfriend, so that makes me very excited. I love, adding a new book boyfriend to my long list of book boyfriends. It seems like this book is going to be a more of an emotional love story more than like a cutesy fluffy rom-com. Just looking at the cover, like, I don't know, it just seems like a book that's gonna make me cry. My copy also has an exclusive extended epilogue, so that's exciting too. The next book I have to show you is actually a book that I've already read, and that is XOXO by Axie Oh, and I picked up this book because it was a book explosion book. I love keeping up with the Booksplosion live shows and reading along with their book of the month. This is like the second year I've been doing it consistently, and in February they're reading XOXO, so I picked it up as well. Since I have already read this, I'm not going to go too in depth on my thoughts because I'll save that for my March wrap up, but I did enjoy this book. It's about a girl named Jenny, and she ends up meeting this mysterious boy named Jay Woo at her uncle's karaoke bar in Los Angeles, and her and Jay Woo end up hanging out and having this really fun night together, but at the end of the night he leaves because he has to go back home to Korea, and even though they exchange numbers at the end of the night, Jay Woo ghosts her. A couple months later, Jenny and her mother end up moving to Korea for a couple of months because her grandmother is sick, and Jenny is a cello prodigy, so she ends up going to a prestigious performing arts school in Seoul. At this performing arts school, she is reunited with Jay Woo, who also attends that school, and it turns out that Jay Woo is actually a huge K-pop star, and he is part of one of the most popular up-and-coming K-pop groups in Korea called XOXO. If you're a fan of K-pop, I would highly recommend this book. You would have just such a fun time. I really enjoyed it, and I really had no knowledge of K-pop at all, but it was a really fun read. And also the cover is beautiful, and I don't mean this cover like the dust jacket, because if you actually take the dust jacket off, how pretty is that? It's on the actual hardcover. When I actually received this book in the mail, I didn't realize I had this pretty hardcover. I realized when I took the dust jacket off to read it, and I had a very nice, fun, beautiful surprise. The next couple books that I have were pretty huge impulse buys, and the first book of these impulse buys that I'm going to show you is Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover, another Colleen Hoover book. I bought this at a bookstore that's in the train station that I stop at to go to uni, and I always stop at that bookstore to have a look around, especially if I'm a little bit early for class. And one day I went in there and they had a bunch of new stock. I promised when I went in there I wasn't going to buy anything, and I came out with 2 books, one of which was Reminders of Him. I saw this in the corner of the bookstore, and it was like all alone. Like, there was one copy and it wasn't surrounded by any other books, and so I felt like it was fate, and so I picked it up. I mean, I had to. It was just there sitting. It had no friends. This is Colleen Hoover's newest release. This follows a woman named Kenna who has just been released after 5 years in prison, and she travels back to her hometown to try and reconnect with her 4-year-old daughter and just try to rebuild the life that she had before this big mistake that led her to being in prison. But it is so much harder than she thought it was going to be. The only person that really gives her a true second chance is a local bar owner named Ledger. But their budding relationship and feelings for each other also holds potential risks in rebuilding her life and her hopes that she can have a relationship with her young daughter. I have read a good amount of Colleen Hoover books. I haven't read all of them, obviously. I'm still making my way through, but I know enough about Colleen that I know that this is going to stab me in the heart, probably. This seems like it's gonna be a tearjerker, and honestly, I'm ready. So the next time that I'm in the mood for a sad book, I think this is the one I'll be picking up. The next book that I ended up impulse buying at this bookstore was Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I haven't read any of Taylor Jenkins Reid's books, and I'm embarrassed that I haven't because I've heard so many amazing things. I especially want to read Daisy Jones and the Six super soon because it's becoming a movie, and the only thing I know about the movie, because I haven't read the book yet, is that it stars Sam Claflin, who us book fans know him as Finnick from The Hunger Games and also Will from Me Before You. I love Sam Claflin. He's one of my faves, so I'm very excited to see him in another adaptation. And yeah, I've just heard so many things, amazing things about this book. It's about a rock band in the 70s. It seems like it's gonna be a heap of fun. Speaking of Taylor Jenkins Reid, I also impulse bought another one of her books. I was with a friend and we were looking at the book section in Kmart, and I told her I'm not gonna buy anything. I'm not supposed to buy anything. I've already bought a heap of books this month. And of course, when I picked picked up this book instead of deterring me from buying it like I had assumed that she would, like a good friend should. She instead told me that she had a voucher for Kmart and she could get a discount on the book, and so I ended up buying it. So the book that I bought was The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, another book that I have heard so many amazing things about. This one in particular I have wanted to read for years and years. This is about a famous actress named Evelyn Hugo. This book I think is constructed in an interview style where she talks about her life and becoming an actress, and also of course the 7 husbands that she married along the way. I think with both The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and also Daisy Jones and the Six, I'm really keen to listen to the audiobooks. People have said that because it's constructed in this interview sort of way, the audiobook is really fun to listen to. So I think I'm going to do that, but I'll also probably read along with the book as well, just so I can also see the words, or else sometimes the story doesn't quite sink in because I'm quite a visual person. But I'm very excited to read both of these. It's been a long time coming for me to read a Taylor Jenkins Reid book. The next couple books I have to show you I all bought at once at this cute little bookstore that I went to when I went away for the long weekend with my family, and it was the day after my birthday, so I went a little crazy and kind of just bought anything in that store that caught my eye. The next 2 books I'm going to show together because they're by the same author and it's quite a popular author, but again I have not read any of her books because I don't know why. I'm probably the last person left on earth to not have read these, but that is Normal People by Sally Rooney and Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. The only thing I really know about Normal People is that it follows a boy and a girl and their relationship throughout their lives. That's all I really want to know. Again, these books seem like a good book to just go in knowing nothing, and I believe Conversations with Friends, I know it's about a group of people. I think there's also an open relationship in this book and it has a bunch of themes surrounding that. The only other thing I know about this book is that it's becoming a Netflix show. I don't know if it's out yet, I don't think it is, but I know that it has Joe Alwyn in it, who is Taylor Swift's boyfriend, but also, you know, a great actor as well. He's not just Taylor Swift's boyfriend, but that's kind of how I know him. But I actually watched like a couple seconds of the trailer until I realized that wait, I shouldn't be watching this. I haven't read the book yet, but from what I saw it looked really good, so I'm very excited to read this book and then watch the adaptation. Same with Normal People. I've heard such amazing things about Sally Rooney, so very excited to get to these very soon. The next book that I bought from that little bookstore was Circe by Madeline Miller. I still have this sticker on it, which I should definitely take off. I'm really excited that I now have this book because I read The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller at the end of last year. It was such a beautiful story, it was emotional, and so ever since I've been really keen to read Circe. This is, I believe, another Greek mythology retelling. The only really thing I know about this book other than that is that it follows a character named Circe, and that's all I know. I'm not really familiar with the original Greek myth that this is retelling, so I really don't know anything about this book, and I'm kind of excited to just go in knowing nothing again, because I feel like with The Song of Achilles I learned so much from that book about Greek mythology, and I love learning about Greek mythology, so I'm excited to learn more from this book. I can't wait to fall back into Madeline Miller's beautiful writing. The last book that I bought at that little bookstore was The Poppy War by R.F Kuang. This is a fantasy book that has been super popular over the last 6 months, I want to say. I've heard so many amazing things about it. This is a fantasy book. I believe this is the first book in a trilogy. From looking at the back of this book and kind of skimming it, because again, I don't like to know too much when I go into books, but it seems like there's gonna be some magic. I think there looks like there's some kind of magic school, or it says that here an elite military school, but the main character seems to have have some kind of magic ability that is very rare. And it also seems like there's going to be some awesome action scenes. We have this person on the cover holding a bow and arrow and people fighting here. So this seems like it's going to be really, really great. I'm probably going to collect the second and third book so I can do a big binge read. I always love binge reading a good fantasy series. This is supposed to be awesome and epic and amazing, so very, very excited. The last book I have to show you is another book that I bought at that bookstore in the train station, but this was on a separate occasion a couple days ago in fact, and the book that I bought was It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. This will not actually be my first Tessa Bailey book. I read her Christmas book Window Shopping in December last year during Christmas time. I had such a fun time reading that book. It was everything I wanted in a cutesy contemporary Christmas romance, and so I'm very excited to read her other books. This book is about a girl named Piper, and she is super rich, she's fashionable, and her reputation precedes her. But one night, after a couple too many glasses of champagne at a rooftop party, things get a little out of control, and her stepfather decides enough is enough, and he cuts her off and sends her to this really tiny town in Washington. Whilst there, she meets Brendan, and they are complete opposites, but there is an undeniable spark there, and it follows their relationship. I just know from what I read of Window Shopping that this is going to be super cute, and I also know that this is book one in a companion series, so I believe there's at least a second book out right now, but it follows a different couple, so I'm also super excited to probably read that if I enjoy this one. So that is now the end of the book haul portion of this video. So I'm now going to unbox my Owlcrate box. I am very, very excited. I got this box in the mail over a week ago, but it has been sitting here unopened because I wanted to open it in a video. So I'm very excited to open this. It's very special. I've always really wanted to buy an Owlcrate box. So let's waste no time and let's finally open this Owlcrate box. Okay, let's open this. Ooh, okay, so the first thing that I see when I open the box is this little card, which I'm not going to look at the back of it because I know that it has spoilers for what's in the box. Okay, so the first thing that I see in my Owlcrate box is literary luggage, a limited edition enamel pin. Okay, let's open this. I love a good pin. The only other pin that I have is a Night Court pin, which I got for pre-ordering, I think, Aquawar. Ooh, Explore Caves Water. So it's literary luggage, so it's in the shape of a little luggage thing. How cute is that? It's inspired by the Raven Boys. Oh my gosh. Okay, literally you can tell how long it's been since I've read the Raven Boys and that I don't remember anything because I literally read Explore Caves Water and I didn't figure out it's from the Raven Boys. But this is so exciting. This would actually be my third Raven Boys piece of merch. I have a hoodie that says Aglionby Academy, which is the school that the Raven Boys go to. And I also have a pillow that says The Trees Speak Latin. So obviously I love the Raven Boys and I'm hopefully going to reread it sometime soon. So this is really exciting. On to the next thing. Let's see, what is this? Cable keepers. Keep your cables and charging cords organized while traveling. I just went away for the long weekend. This would have been really helpful. Actually, I was just thinking, I'm a singer and I go to a music school and I always have a mic cord that I bring along all the time to uni, and it has a Velcro strap used to do what this does. But oftentimes the Velcro like peels off in my bag, and then when I open my bag to get the cable out, my mic cable has gone everywhere and it's all tangled. So this would actually probably be really helpful for that as well. Can't figure out what book this is from. There's A Monster in the Shadows and Now It Knows My Name. That's this one. I'll have to have a look at the card after I open all this stuff because it'll probably tell me what books these are all from. But these are going to actually be incredibly helpful to my life. Okay, let's open up the next thing. Let's grab this. So I have this little pouch here. I have a feeling this is going to be some kind of jewelry, like a bookish necklace or bracelet or something like that. So let's open this. Oh. Oh, it's a keychain! We are the darkest acts made light. Oh, it's from This Savage Song, that's what I thought! I just read this not that long ago. This is inspired by This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab, which is a book that I read mid last year. I'm so happy about this. Okay, let's see what else is in here. I also got a book, there's also another book in there as well that's like the main book, but I got Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. This is actually incredibly exciting. I've been really wanting to read Frankenstein for a really long time. I actually studied the play adaptation that had Benedict Cumberbatch in it in Year 12 theatre studies. It's a really, really great play. And so ever since then, I've been really, really keen to read Frankenstein. Now I have a copy of Frankenstein and it's a beautiful, beautiful copy. The next thing... This is an art print of Howl's Moving Castle. It's Howl and Sophie, which Howl's Moving Castle is one of my favourite movies ever. It's a great movie and look, it's an art print of it. How pretty. It's a bit bent, I think, from being in the box, but that's okay. This is very exciting. Okay, let's look at what the next item is. There seems to be another art print. So we got this art print. I'm not 100% sure what it is, but it says on the back, some promises can never be broken. Start reading an Owlcrate exclusive digital sampler of Forest 4, the haunting sequel to Lake's Edge by Lyndall Clipstone, now on NetGalley. That's really, really exciting. I have not read the first book, but obviously I'm gonna have to now. On the front there's also, of course, the art print, which I'm assuming is one of the main characters from that series. This is very exciting. Okay, I think the next thing is going to be the actual book. Okay. Ooh. So the book that we have is Only a Monster by Vanessa Len, and there's a little note on the back, so I'm going to read that. So it says, Dear Owlcrate reader, Only a Monster is about a monster girl whose summer is ruined when the cute guy at work turns out to be a monster slayer. Oh my god, it says enemies to lovers. This book was written with so much love and heart. When I was growing up, I always wished that I could read about characters who looked like me, having amazing adventures and magical worlds, and then one day I realized that I could write that book. Now it's such a dream come true to share it with you in this beautiful Owlcrate edition. Hope you have as much fun reading it as I had writing it. With love and best wishes, Vanessa. So this has a little plastic covering over it, so I'm going to go ahead and take that off so we can really see the gloriousness of this book. I already see it has sprayed edges. And it has this on the back of the little letter. We have this beautiful sprayed edges. Ooh! Oh my god. It has this on the dust jacket. Oh my goodness, it looks beautiful. Obviously, these are some of the characters in the book. The actual hardcover has this sword on it. Very, very exciting. And then, of course, it is signed by Vanessa. I can't wait to read this. This seems like something I'm going to really, really, really enjoy. I'm so excited to read this. We have, it looks like, a couple more things in this box. So let's have a look at what else there is. So what I see is there is a bookend. I don't have any bookends and I often just use random objects to keep my books from falling, such as air fresheners. I have an air freshener holding up my Brandon Stanson books up there. So this is actually going to be extremely helpful. On it, it says, that love of maidens for monsters that does not fade with time. There's another bookend. There's two identical bookends. This is a blank piece of paper. So right at the bottom there was this little booklet thing. So February 2022, the theme was Among the Monsters. It has an interview with Vanessa Len, who is the author of Only a Monster. And it's also got some book recommendations. And it has an interview with the illustrator of that really beautiful copy of Frankenstein. Some new releases that are coming out this month. It's also got a little Spotify link to a Spotify playlist that kind of fits the theme for this month. So that was right at the end of the box. And the last thing it has is a little sneak peek of next month's box, which unfortunately I will not be getting because I'm too broke. But it looks like for March, the theme is Artistic Obsession. I'm now gonna have a look at that card that was at the top so I can see officially what book everything was inspired by. Oh, so apparently Frankenstein is part of the Owlcrate Classics edition. And the metal bookends were inspired by the Bear and the Nightingale, which I have not read yet, but that is on my TBR. I do really want to read it, so this makes me think I should probably read it sooner rather than later. Cable Keepers were inspired by Lake's Edge, and the art for them was actually done by the author Lyndall Clipstone. So that is really, really, really cool. That was my Owlcrate unboxing. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you are subscribed to any bookish subscription boxes, or just let me know what books you have bought recently, and if you've read any of the books that I hauled today and what you thought of them. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!